You know, lots of times Mr. Reagan doesn't hear the questions. He doesn't hear the question lots of times because he's nodding off. How about those generals?
Oh, how about those generals?
Huh? That's my main team now. And I want Donald Trump to get the generals' jackets over here. And God forbid they're like last year's, which were fire hazards.
Yeah, that's true.
And, of course, we want USFL jackets.
Yeah.
USFL hats. I want a USFL referee hat.
Yes.
I want all of the stuff because I am now a frontline supporter of the New Jersey Generals. And I made fun of their commercials saying who has the best coach, who has this, who has that. Well, apparently the Generals do.
That's exactly right. Further details coming up in a minute on WNBC. The time right now, 6:30.
A new idea can create ripples or make waves. Introducing the new wave in business communications. Introducing Bell Atlantic. Driven by the combined energies of New Jersey Bell, Bell of Pennsylvania, and Diamond State Telephone of Delaware, and the C&P companies of Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Bell Atlantic, a new company with a new approach based on a simple belief. The more you can rely on one company to solve your communications needs, the easier your life will be. So rely on Bell Atlantic for analysis and systems recommendation, for advanced equipment, for local network access, for installation and instruction, for reliable service and future system expansion. Introducing the new wave in business communications. Introducing Bell Atlantic. One call, one source, one company.
6:31, Imus in the morning. Roz and the Encopter coming up here in 9 or 10 minutes. WNBC weather. Increasing clouds today, high about 38. Then tonight, snow developing, changing to sleet or freezing rain. There is a winter storm watch in effect for tonight and tomorrow. It's 29 degrees now in New York. I guess you can still go skiing lots of places, can't you?
Sure.
I'm going Sunday.
That's what I understand, but I don't understand. I understand, but I don't comprehend. Let's put it that way.
Well, my tennis coach over at the Vertical Club,
Florin, sorry.
also teaches skiing.
He's sort of a jack of all sports, isn't he?
The problem is I don't have any ski equipment.
What?
I don't have any ski boots.
Then explain to me this, Don.
Yeah?
How do you go skiing without a complete array of the normal accoutrement of the sport?
Well, I don't know. Guess I have to call my friend Ernie Spiegel down at Spiegel Sporting Goods.
Yeah, and put the touch on Ern.
Well, no, I pay for the stuff. But unless, of course, there's some ski manufacturer that would like me to be talking about, the Rosinal skis or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever else they have.
Yeah.
I already have the ski jackets and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just need to ski. There can't be much of skiing, can there?
Much to skiing?
Yeah.
It's a sissy sport.
That's what I thought.
Of course.
No problem. How about this general? So let's get the ski stuff in here, and I need it by, obviously,
10 o'clock.
Yeah. In the USFL, my team, the New Jersey Generals, 17 over the Birmingham Stallions, 6. In other opening day USFL games, Denver over L.A. 27-10, Arizona over Oakland 35-7, Tampa Bay 20, Houston 17, Oklahoma 7, Pittsburgh 3, Jacksonville 53, Washington 14.
Lord.
And Jacksonville's a new team. And Washington's an old team, so they were lousy last year. Philadelphia, which was a good team last year, defeated Memphis 17-9. Coming up tonight, the Chicago Blitz, but it's the old Arizona Invaders.
Yeah.
Because they swapped locations. George Allen and his gang are all out in Arizona now. And Chicago, so the Chicago Blitz is not the old Chicago Blitz. But they'll play the Michigan Panthers,
Yeah.
at 9 p.m.
The Chicago Blitz, then, is what you're saying are the old Arizona Wranglers.
Yeah.
Whereby the Arizona Wranglers now are the old Chicago Blitz. Well, that's clear.
Yeah. That was a good little deal. I don't know how they did that. I think the owners did. I don't know. Something crazy. In the National Hockey League, what happened, Hunky?
Washington Capitals over the Whalers 4-3. The Philadelphia Flyers defeated the Islanders 5-3. The Rangers beat the Pittsburgh Penguins in overtime 4-3. Quebec over St. Louis shut them out 5-0. Detroit beat the Blackhawks 4-2. Toronto and Vancouver tied at 4. Calgary over Los Angeles 5-2. 2 games this evening. Buffalo at Buffalo. Boston at Buffalo, I mean.
Buffalo at Buffalo. Made a mistake, didn't he?
Boston at Buffalo. Edmonton at Winnipeg.
In the National Basketball Association, the Lakers 101, Philadelphia 99.
Yeah.
San Diego over Seattle 101-93. Indiana over Portland 102-100. Detroit over Cleveland 121-109. And Boston defeated Phoenix 116-109. One game in the NBA tonight. Atlanta takes on the Knicks at the Garden. In top 20 college basketball, North Carolina, Houston, DePaul, Nevada, Las Vegas all won. 15th ranked Wake Forest upset by Maryland. Tonight, Kentucky, Memphis State, Syracuse, Temple, and Auburn are all in action.
The WNBC Weather Winter Storm Watch is in effect for tonight and tomorrow. Increasing cloudiness today, the high about 38. Snow developing tonight, changing to sleet or freezing rain. Lows near 32 in the city, but down to 25 in the northern and western suburbs. Tomorrow, rain possibly mixed with sleet during the morning. Blustery day, temperature going up to near 40. The outlook for Wednesday, rain possibly changing back to snow before it ends. At the moment, it is 29 degrees, coming up on 6:36. And that's what's happening. I'm Charles McCord, WNBC New York.
Thank you, Charles. I'm Imus in the morning. Rods in the Encounter coming up, NBC.
You are the move you make.
WNBC 639, 21 till 7 o'clock. I am Imus in the morning, 21 till 7. WNBC weather. Increasing clouds today, high about 38. Then tonight, snow developing, changing to sleet or freezing rain. It's 29 now in New York. The smart money's on Chevette, the most affordable little hatchback Chevrolet offers today. Take charge. Chevrolet sponsors this Encounter Traffic Report with WNBC's Roz Frank. Good morning, Miss Frank.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
Have you met this person who's taken Joel's place?
No. Why?
She has real bright red hair, like one of those, go down to Astor Place and get their hair cut, and then they take shoe polish and put on it.
Uh-huh.
She's scary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
she's nice and all that, I guess. But
I heard she was an axe murderess, so you better be real careful.
she's a what?
Axe murderess.
Axe murderess?
Yeah, it's a new WNBC rehabilitation program.
It's like a kabuki lizard. What'd you do this weekend?
Oh, well, stuff.
Lisa and I went looking for apartments. I mean, for her.
You did?
Yeah.
And I went looking for a house.
You
For
did?
me,
Well,
yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite radio station?
WNBC.
All right, nice talking. Oh, no, you haven't done the cars yet, have you?
Do I win?
Go ahead.
This morning we have reports from shadow traffic of trouble westbound on the LIE around Springfield Boulevard involving a truck that lost a load of lumber, which is supposed to be on the road, blocking the left lane. We're just heading over there now to check it out. We'll sure have more details on that about 7, but the early reports indicate the westbound LIE is all fouled up, so you want to use the Northern State Grand Central as you come in this morning. Inbound George Washington Bridge, a little bit better if you head to the lower level. Those tolls right now, not as heavy as going to the upper, but the bridge itself is good. We look good on the dig and getting down to the George Washington Bridge, and then south of it, down towards the Triborough, the Harlem River Drive looks good. Southbound West Side Highway off to a pretty good start for you this morning. And no problems in the Bronx so far. Eastbound Cross Bronx looks good, and westbound Cross Bronx, southbound Bruckner system really on the light side, so we'll keep track of that. Be back at 7 on WNBC.
Thanks, Rob. 641, 19 till 7 o'clock. I'm Miss in the Morning. Schultz coming up.
From now until February 29th, New York Air is holding a sale on Cleveland. A one-way ticket from Newark to Cleveland is just $49, and a one-way from LaGuardia is just $59. All seats, all flights. Even though New York Air has lowered their fares, they haven't lowered their standards. So on every weekday flight, you'll still get all their complimentary New York-style amenities like drinks, fine wines, and snacks.
Compare New York Air, the airline that works for your business. We care, New York Air, the airline that works for your business.
Fly New York Air to Cleveland. $49 from Newark and $59 from LaGuardia. And remember, prices may never be this low again. So catch one of New York Air's planes before you miss the boat.
Compare New York Air, the airline that works for your business.
Oh, excuse me. Why don't you watch me? Wow, fancy meeting you here at Ridgewood Savings.
I bank here.
Oh, yeah? Me too.
Well, it's the first time we ever agreed on anything.
I come here for Ridgewood's low interest rates.
What?
On my mortgage, my daughter's student loan, all my borrowing needs.
Well, I come here for their high interest rates.
Oh, yeah?
Uninsured market rate accounts, tax-sheltered IRAs, Keogh plans, and other investments.
See there, I knew we wouldn't agree.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, how about Ridgewood's personalized advice and a neighborly service?
So, what about it?
Well, you don't think that's as important as the high interest rates that Ridgewood pays?
No, I think it's as important as the low interest rates that Ridgewood charges.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, how about Ridgewood's now checking and direct deposit services?
They're great.
Yes, well, then I guess we do agree.
We do?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So, think the Yankees will go all the way this year?
The Yankees?
Yeah.
What, are you kidding me?
It's smart to bank with your neighbors at Ridgewood Savings Bank.
7 branches in Queens and Nassau County. Member FDIC.
Last year, something amazing happened in New York. Overnight, thousands of businesses started speaking Spanish. Automobile dealers were transformed into ventas de autos. Hairdressers became peluqueros. Real estate agents, whose only previous experience was with houses, apartments, and condominiums, started handling casas, apartamentos, y condominios. And thanks to the 9X Spanish Yellow Pages, their business is muy bueno. If your business hasn't started speaking Spanish yet, it can learn in time for next year's edition of the 9X Spanish Yellow Pages. Before you know it, your business will be speaking fluently to 1 million potential customers in the Páginas Amarillas para la Comunidad Hispana. Call Reuben H. Donnelly at 972-7970. That's 972-7970. You can have your ad translated and have your business speaking Spanish in time for the next edition of the Spanish Yellow Pages. 9X Spanish Yellow Pages for New York telephone. Where would you be without it?
All I can say in Spanish is, huela chingo. And I think it's probably dirty. I was working in this copper mine in Superior, Arizona. And there was a bunch of Spanish guys worked there, and I was about one of the few guys who could speak English, so I was the union steward. Bust their chops, you know what I mean? Close that sucker down and mess with us. And that's all I learned. I learned some others, Spanish words, but I know they're dirty. I best they may, you know, and stuff. They add another word to that. It's not, I know, 6:44, 16 till 7 o'clock. Imus in the morning, WNBC weather. Increasing clouds today, high about 38. Then tonight, snow developing, changing to sleet or freezing, icky rain. It's 29 now in New York.
This is great stuff,
Yeah,
man. I got this
from the
commentary.
right over here.
You know what they call this stuff?
What?
Up in the NBC commentary?
No, what is that?
They call it tofuti. No kidding. You know what,
Really?
this is tutti frutti
Yeah,
tofuti.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Mr. Imus, how you doing? Have some lunch with us.
Yeah, sit down.
What are you guys all doing here?
Having lunch.
Having
man.
lunch,
Yeah.
I want some tutti frutti tofuti.
No. I wanted to talk to Dr. Schultz.
Oh, well, you want us to leave or what? Is it personal?
Well,
Is it personal?
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, let him stay here because we're having lunch and it,
Okay. I'm kind of worried about Charles.
Oh, really?
Oh.
What could it be?
Well, he said this morning on the air, he said that I was one of the only one or two men with whom he thought he could have a successful...
I heard that. He said that yesterday, too, man.
Who could have he could have a successful homosexual relationship with.
God. Throws me out the door.
Well, you know, Donald, very often, I understand you think this is Charles's problem, but very often it's
Well,
the
it is
person
his
who...
problem.
The person who brings the problem out into the open who has the problem, you know?
Yeah, man.
Oh, what are you talking about? I'm not...
Besides, Donald, a lot of very sensitive human beings, men, have good, decent relationships with other men.
That's sickening stuff.
Now, tell me, how are your wrists holding
My
up playing
wrists are
tennis?
fine. How come he's
You have to use a jack to hold your wrists up, huh?
No, Charles, I think Charles is a homo.
Yeah, you think so, huh?
Charles.
Let me ask you a question,
Yeah.
boy Don.
Who's the one going to the shrink?
Look who's here, right? Let me ask you a question.
I don't-
Did you have any uncontrollable urges to redecorate your apartment?
Hey, man, could you do something with my hair? I can't do a thing.
WNBC.
6:46, 14 till 7. Imus in the morning, WN. BC.
Can you understand me? Baby, don't you hand me a line. Although it doesn't matter, you and me got plenty of time. There's nobody in the future, so baby, let me hand you my love. Oh, no step for you to dance to, so slip your hand inside my glove.
WNBC coming up on 6:50. In fact, it is 6:50 now, 10 till 7 o'clock. I am Imus in the morning. WNBC weather. Increasing clouds today, high about 38 degrees. Then tonight, snow developing, changing to sleet or freezing rain. 29 now in New York.
Passamaquoddy Bay, Peggy's Cove, Shipwreck Point, Malpac Bay, Cavendish Beach, Heart's Content, and Campobello Island. America, come on up to Canada this summer. Come for the wilderness and discover a civilization that's just up the road from some great seaside resorts. Historic old cities in Nova Scotia where you can stroll the waterfronts and dine on the best lobster in Canada. Picturesque Acadian villages along the coast of New Brunswick, and the famous Charlottetown Festival on tiny Prince Edward Island. The colorful harbors in Newfoundland with fiddlers, folk songs, and sailors from the seven seas. This summer, come on up. America borders on the magnificent. Canada.
When a beautiful girl has a Broadway dream, you're at 42nd Street. When 100 tapping feet thunder like one, you're at 42nd Street. When an extravaganza Broadway hasn't seen for years comes alive again, you're at 42nd Street. The dancing, the glitter, the dames. It's 42nd Street, David Merritt's rip-roaring musical comedy smash.
Come and meet those dancing feet. On the avenue, I'm taking you to 42nd Street.
Some seats are available this week and for Sunday's matinee. See 42nd Street. Call Telecharge 239-6200, 8 a.m. to midnight.
6:52, 8 till 7 o'clock. I am Imus in the morning. WNBC News. Good morning, Charles McCord.
Good morning, Don. Here in the tri-state area, Nassau County Police say an 11-year-old boy found his mother and older brother dead inside their Oceanside, Long Island home last night. The victims identified as 41-year-old Susan Eigen and her 17-year-old son, Richard. Police spokesman, Officer Edward Wessinger, says they're looking for more clues.
Actually, it's a homicide investigation. We found 2 dead bodies. Of course, they have to determine how they were killed. A medical examiner will determine that. And from there, we go on further.
Detective Wessinger does say, though, that the initial investigation at the scene indicates that robbery was the motive in the killings. Authorities are trying to determine the cause of a Sunday morning fire in Newark that killed 4 people and has left 40 homeless today. A city fire department spokesperson says the blaze started in a vacant second-floor apartment. Officials say burning embers carried by strong winds caused the fire to spread then to several other wooden homes. It took 85 firefighters an hour to bring that fire under control yesterday in Newark. Also in the headlines this morning, New York City's school chancellor, Anthony Alvarado, complaining that low starting salaries for teachers has forced this city to scrape the bottom of the barrel, as Alvarado put it, in hiring teachers for the current school year, a description that may not make new teachers terribly happy. Nevertheless, Alvarado says that is what has happened, that we're not attracting the best and the brightest, because starting pay for a New York City teacher is $14,500 a year. Alvarado would like to see that figure go up to at least $18,000, or, as he points out, the same figure that city sanitation men get to start. Our weather, a winter storm watch, is in effect for tonight and tomorrow.
How about them dogs?
Details just ahead on WNBC. First of all, Jesse Jackson trying to explain his position to Jewish voters. We have details about that from NBC's Alan Walden.
With the New Hampshire primary set for tomorrow and 7 Democrats scrambling to give Walter Mondale a run for his money, Jesse Jackson seems to have grabbed most of the headlines, though he may wish it was otherwise. Jackson went to a synagogue in Manchester yesterday to explain his use of the word Jaime and his reference to New York as Jaime Town during a private conversation.
In private talks, we sometimes let our guard down and become faultless. It was not in a spirit of meanness, but an off-color remark having no bearing on religion or politics. I deny, and I do not recall ever making such a statement in any context that would be remotely construed as being either anti-Semitic or anti-Israel.
Senator John Glenn, meanwhile, has other problems. His campaign for the nomination has been running out of both steam and money, But Glenn says he's not ready to quit.
I'm in this thing for principle. When you get in for something for principle, you don't just drop out the first time there happens to be a negative poll. And I'm not dropping out this time because there's a negative poll. We're in this to make a point for the party and for the future of this nation that I believe in so much.
Glenn finished a dismal 6th in the Iowa caucuses last week. Senator Gary Hart, who finished a surprising 2nd in Iowa, hopes to do at least that well again tomorrow, and says when all is said and done, he will be the Democratic candidate. More news in a minute.
For Executone, here's Phone Talk.
This is Phone Talk.
Hey, this may sound crazy.
Right, crazy.
But now that Ma Bell is broken up, we need a business phone company with maybe 200 or more offices in all 50 states.
Executone.
Maybe one with 48 years experience.
Executone, sir.
One you can call at 800-645-1111.
Sir, that's Executone, the only nationwide business phone company that's not broken up.
Right. So what do you think? Sound crazy or what? Hello?
Executone, the only nationwide business phone company that's not broken up. A Contel company.
Hey, not in a million years. Tell you right out, there's no chance.
Eat just one. Now tell me another joke.
Lay's brand potato chips, so thin, so light, so crisp. So is it any wonder?
No one can eat just one. Sing it, boys.
No one can.
You call that thin?
No one can eat just one Lay's brand potato chips.
For the check?
No one can eat just one.
So thin. So light. So crisp.
Lay's. No one can eat just one.
The flag flying over the military encampment at Beirut Airport today is not the Stars and Stripes, but instead the bright green banner of the Muslim rebels in Lebanon. The Marines, as reported by NBC News correspondent Philip Till, are gone.
It is indeed a very different sight this morning. Muslim gunmen and Lebanese army units are just lounging around the base, some of them leafing through paperbacks that were left behind by the Marines. The Leathernecks themselves, of course, are all aboard their ships off the Lebanese coast, although there is a contingent still in Beirut. We don't know how many, and their job is to protect the U.S. Embassy.
Other than them, the only remnant of the multinational peacekeeping force is the French contingent, and it may regret its government's decision to remain in Beirut. One French soldier was killed yesterday when a mortar shell landed nearby. And an American priest was reported to have been killed in fighting along the so-called Green Line between the Christian and Muslim sections of Beirut. This is NBC News.
Attention shoppers, we've got a special on aisle 6, and check out our 2 for the price of 1 deal on aisle
If you've been
14.
scouring the supermarket in search of a better buy, check out Purex heavy-duty detergent for real value. Purex detergent has a new dense formula that gives you more cleaning power in every cup, and you get the same amount of washes in every box. Now that's real value from a company that knows you want a hard-working product that costs less than other leading brands. New dense formula Purex is even more convenient than ever before. Instead of using a cup and a quarter per load, now you only need 1 cup. And here's the best news of all. Purex detergent still costs the same, and that's a whole lot less than any other leading brand.
Over on aisle 12, we've got a special markdown on day-old bread and a red letter sale on canned
Just
goods.
don't forget, new dense formula Purex is one of the best buys on the shelf. And it'll get your clothes clean, sparkling white, and bright.
Purex, the symbol of value for the smart shopper.
6:58, 2 minutes till 7 o'clock. I am Imus in the morning here with my friend Charles McCord. WNBC weather, a winter storm watch in effect for tonight and tomorrow. However, today, increasing clouds, high about 38. Then tonight, snow developing, changing to sleet or freezing, icky rain.
My God.
It's 29 now in New York. Today is Ralph Nader's birthday. Happy birthday to Ralph Nader. Well, I guess we'll have to take that one back. Never mind. Never mind. I'm sorry, Ralph. This letter from John J. Taft. Dear Mr. Imus, would you wish my friend Linda a happy birthday on Monday, 2/27/84, between 7 and 7:30? That's 6:59 now.
Close enough.
Yeah, close.
Come on, John.
In addition, would you play You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone for her?
Yeah, right, John.
Yeah, that's coming right up, John.
Good Lord. Happy birthday, though.
Yeah, happy birthday, Linda.
But forget Debbie.
Elaine Fila from Yonkers writes, I want to tell you how very much I enjoy your show. Don't be kissing up to us, Elaine.
Well, the family's very responsible for some awfully nice tennis wear.
Yeah. Anyway, on February 27th, my aunt and uncle, Julia and Stanley Janos, will be celebrating their 51st wedding anniversary. They listen to you every morning. A couple of little sickos, huh?
Boy, no kidding.
Son almighty.
Good Lord, Julie, Jano, Jojo.
They usually listen around 7. Fine. Well, happy anniversary to Julia and Stanley Janos, married 51 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
That is nice.
7 o'clock, Imus in the morning, Chevrolet Camaro. Z, they want to hear...
what do they want to hear?
The Grateful Dead.
You ruined my life.
They want to hear Casey Jones by the Grateful Dead, but we don't have that record.
Nuts. Cavaliers hot, and your Chevrolet's got it. Riding that train. These guys have been married 51 years old, and they're deadheads? What's the deal here?
I don't know.
Okay.
Chevrolet's hot, and your Chevrolet dealer's got it. Take charge of one of the hottest selling Chevrolets today. Chevrolet sponsors this Encopter traffic report with WNBC's Ross Frank. Good morning, Miss Frank.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
Did you know that Howard's mother can fly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, why? How do you know this?
Well, somebody told me.
She can fly on her own or like in a plane?
No, on her own.
Oh, yeah?
No, you could take her to the coast. One of the cars...
Maybe she'll drop Howard off somewhere for us.
Yeah, I like Howard.
I know, and I do too, and I'm just kidding.
Okay, what are the cars doing?
Just kidding. Not much on the LIE westbound. Just west of the exit for Francis Lewis Boulevard, again, a truck accident there. The truck not overturned, but it sure is tipping over, and it lost all of its cargo, which was lumber. That is all over the road, and only the far left lane remains open there. We have about a 5-mile backup, bumper-to-bumper delays on the westbound LIE trying to get to that point. If you're just starting out this morning, you just must use, you don't have to, I mean, we won't kill you if you don't, but you should try to use the Northern State Grand Central combination. Take that all the way to the Clearview, and then at the Clearview, cross back over to the LIE. You'll bypass all those delays, and the LIE is very light right now west of that point because nobody can get through it. If you're closer in and you can't do that, do try to bail out and use the northbound Cross Island. Take that to the Whitestone and then Grand Central routing. That should help you out. The Cross Island will be heavy for you from the LIE to Northern Boulevard because of the alternate traffic, but better than the LIE. The Grand Central this morning, not too bad. It's just heavy as you make your way from the Cross Island to 188th Street, and then you're in just fine shape down to Q on the Van Wyck and Interboro. All looks fine. If you're continuing on the Grand Central westbound, it's okay by Northern Boulevard. A little slow by LaGuardia, getting up to the exit for the BQE, but the BQE itself, not too bad. Just standard delays from just about the LIE to and over the Kosciuszko Bridge. The Triborough is in fine shape. The southbound FDR looks good. Southbound Harlem River Drive, just emerging delays for you there. So remember, the big story this morning is westbound LIE, just west of Francis Lewis, only the left lane open. Shadow traffic reporting Brewster North, 536, due at 7:14, is 15 minutes late. I'm Roz Frank in the Encopter. Next report, 7:20 on WNBC.
Thanks, Ralph. 2 minutes after 7, now 7:02 in New York. I am Imus in the morning. Lisa and I and Florin, our tennis pro from the Vertical Club, are going skiing next Sunday. I don't know where to go, though. Florin's going to check around. We can only go one day, so we're going to leave very early Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And come back Sunday night. So
that'll be fun.
I just wonder if there's some local ski area that, would like to have me there for the day. Then be talking about it for several weeks afterward. What a wonderful time I had.
And what a wonderful facility it was.
Yeah. Gee, well, if they are, they ought to get their calls in here early.
Yeah, we'll be taking calls from various ski operators, ski resort areas, and we will be naming the winner somewhere around 10 o'clock this morning, right, Donnie?
The ski off, and we want nothing.
That's the shoes off.
Yeah, the shoes off. We want nothing more than like a couple hours away because we're not interested in driving for 5 or 6 hours.
No, unless you want to send down the helicopter, and then, of course, we will be willing to go on up to the Stowe area.
Yeah, wherever. So WNBC weather now, increasing clouds today, high about 38 degrees. Then tonight, snow developing, changing to sleet or freezing rain. It's 29 degrees now.
Yeah.
In New York. How about those Generals?
How about those Generals?
How about them dogs?
Oh, my God!
Well, they won yesterday.
They did?
And I watched a Generals football game on television. It looked like a real football game.
That's what I understand.
So they were hot stuff.
Look out, Neffel. Here comes the useful.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, in case you're interested in the scores, which I'm sure you are, because I had threatened Donald Trump in that if they didn't, if things didn't look real good today, well, then I'd have to get ugly with him,
Get ugly.
New Jersey General 17, Birmingham Stallion 6, And that dope from the Daily News, Benjamin Lee Eckstein, or Eckstein, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I mean, his picks bite the big one. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, that's one way of describing it.
Speaking of biting the big one, I finally had some chicken at T.J. Tucker's. It's decent. You know, their world-famous fried chicken?
Among the best on the planet, yeah.
Well, wrong.
Wrong?
No, Colonel Sanders will not sneak into the T.J. Tucker kitchen
to look
steal
for a recipe.
No. But they had some other kind of chicken over there.
Yeah.
So Lisa and I were over there Friday, talked to Tommy O'Neill. I like Tommy O'Neill a lot.
Now, who is he?
He and Tucker Fredrickson own T.J. Tucker.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, they fixed chicken a different way. Put sauce on it so it kind of kill the taste. You know?
Yeah.
So it's good. Star 17, Memphis 9, Jacksonville 50.
Because you know those really aren't chickens.
What are they?
Well, what they do, they go out in the over here on the West Side Highway and rope a bunch of pigeons.
No, they don't.
Haul them over there, cook them up.
No, don't say that.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
They can't do that?
I wouldn't put it past them. But, you know. And then I was down to El Coyote.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get in.
No, not Don Imus.
Yeah.
Couldn't get in El
There were no
Coyote.
tables at El Coyote.
But what are they doing? Eating on the floor?
Well, no, you know what I mean.
What do you mean?
Well, there were too many people.
Oh, I see. You mean there was no place to sit and
Right.
be served?
Yeah.
I thought you meant that they, put down a couple of troughs on the floor there. Suey, come in here.
No, I've never they lined up there for...
Well, I'll be darned. Well, that's the hot new deal, of course, Mexican food.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, they sure got it there.
Jump right on anything here in New York.
That's right. All right. Philadelphia, these are more NFL scores. Philadelphia over...
USFL scores.
Yeah. What did I say?
NFL.
I did?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, they look pretty good.
So it's fooled you.
They looked as good as some NFL teams.
You thought you were watching them.
Philadelphia 17, Memphis 9, Jacksonville 53, Washington 14, Oklahoma 7, Pittsburgh 3, New Orleans 13, San Antonio 10, Tampa Bay 20, Houston 17, Arizona with George Allen. George Allen has lost only one opening season game in 13 years.
Good grief.
Way to go, George.
What a statistic.
35-7 over Oakland. Denver over Los Angeles, 27-10. Do you know that I've been taking tennis lessons now every day? I've been playing tennis 2 or 3 hours a day for a month.
Yeah.
And that when people find out over to Vertical Club that they're going to play me, they immediately try to get a Valium prescription.
Do they?
Yeah. They bring their shrink and their psychologist with them.
Yeah.
And a Medivac team in case they crack under the pressure.
Yeah. Well, I don't doubt it.
You want to play with me this week?
Oh, gosh, I want to play with you anytime.
By the way, speaking of your homosexual tendencies.
Yes.
Fat John Eckstein sent over a wrist support for you.
He did?
Yeah.
It's real funny, Fat John. Thanks a lot. What's that hanging around your waist? Mane?
You know, when I play with him and he's got balls stuck in his pocket,
yeah.
I'm looking across there and I can't tell whether he has any balls or not.
I know.
I mean, there's all these bulges. He's got more folds than
than last week's laundry.
He said, Wally, since I've been playing with you, I lost 4 pounds. Well, God, it'd be like a boulder rolling off of Mount Everest. Say, well, that looks a little smaller, doesn't it?
What'd you do, lose your wallet?
He dropped his wallet. Yeah, he lost 4 pounds. Okay. In the National Hockey League, Quebec 5, St. Louis nothing. Washington over Hartford 4-3. The Flyers over the Islanders 5-3. The Rangers in overtime defeated Pittsburgh 4-3. Detroit over Chicago 4-2. Toronto and Vancouver tied at 4 each. Calgary 5, Los Angeles 2. Coming up tonight, Boston at Buffalo, Edmonton at Winnipeg. And what happened in basketball, bozo?
The Los Angeles Lakers defeated the 76ers 101-99. San Diego over Seattle 101-93. Indiana beat Portland 102-100. Detroit over Cleveland 121-109. Boston beat Phoenix 116-109. One game on the schedule tonight. The Hawks are here at the Garden to play the Knicks.
You know, there's very few things that Lisa can criticize me about. I mean, I have no faults. So few.
I know.
The one thing that makes her nuts
is
when I eat on
the air.
On the air.
Well, it makes everybody nuts. What are we going to do about it?
When I talk, when I'm chewing.
Yeah.
And she just hates it.
Well, you shouldn't do that. I mean, being a major radio personality.
Oh, God.
That kind of silly.
I'm going to eat.
Slopping down stuff, drinking coffee. Oh, God. I mean, it's just obnoxious sounding. It's gruesome to have to sit here and listen to that.
What's the weather?
The weather, Don, is a term that we...
Do this, I am going to choke your neck.
Winter storm watch is in effect for tonight and tomorrow. Increasing clouds today, the high about 38 degrees. Snow developing tonight, changing to sleet or freezing rain. Lows near 32 in the city, down to 25 in the northern and western suburbs. Tomorrow, rain possibly mixed with sleet during the morning. It'll be blustery, the temperature going up to near 40. Wednesday's outlook, rain possibly changing to snow before it ends. It's 29 degrees. Stop that. Gad. And yet you eat like a hog anyway. Just down there at the trough with your nose buried in the slop.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
29 degrees right now at precisely 10 minutes past 7 o'clock. And that's what's happening. I'm Charles McCord, WNBC New York.
Thank you, Charles. I'm Imus in the morning. Some hot stuff coming up, baby. Santana, banana tomorrow. And tomorrow, Susie will talk with Senator George McGovern. Was that you who just called?
I'm sorry.
All right. NBC. WNBC, 13 after 7, now 7:13 in New York. I am Imus in the morning, WNBC weather. Increasing clouds today, high about 38. Then tonight, snow developing, changing to sleet or freezing rain. It's 29 degrees now in New York. You picked the songs on the Frank Reed All Request radio show, weekdays from 10 to 3. And we want to find... Frank talked to his mother Friday. Which Frank said, like Mrs. Howard's mother is real funny, you know.
Murdered his mother and raped his father. The original exploits of the man who was tougher than Shane, braver than Zorro, with more balls than a bowling alley. The man they call Tres Huevos.
Out of the night comes a frightening sight. It's the man they call Tres Huevos. Tres Huevos! Unlike most of the jocks, his cocktails on free rocks. That's why they call the man Tres Huevos. Tres Huevos! He's mean and he's nasty and surly. Tres huevos. Their names are Molary and Curly. Tres huevos.
The legend of Tres Huevos. The lost episodes. Coming soon to Imus in the morning. The missing chapters in the story that made the West wild. Hear the thrills, the excitement, the utter disgust of the man who thought these bits were over and done with.
All right, I'm going to do one more, but damn it, I want a damn concerted effort to make these things funny. Do you understand me? Am I on the phone? Well, get me on the phone. What are those damn pictures? This thing better work.
Imus in the morning, 66 WNBC. You've got somewhere to go, catch a fare that's low. There's a money saver going on Greyhound.
Right now, you can catch a Greyhound Money Saver to thousands of cities in the U.S. for only $7 to $68 one way. Some restrictions apply, so call or stop by for details.
So when you're ready to roll, get your fare that's low. Catch a money saver going on Greyhound.
Go Greyhound and leave the driving to us.
This is news from 66 WNBC, New York.
I'm Charles McCord. Here's what's happening at 8:30. Curtis Sliwa did not have a good time in London. He did have 22 stitches in his face. Sliwa and another guardian angel were in a youth club in the South Lambeth section of London. 4 men in the club said they didn't want guardian angels interfering with their criminal activity. One of them picked up a couple of darts and stabbed Sliwa in the cheek and mouth, then dragged the darts across his face. Sliwa is back home now. There have been no arrests in the case. Curtis had been in Britain exploring the possibility of setting up Guardian Angels chapters in several cities there. John Smith has been reconvicted of killing a cop in 1974. He was convicted of killing Lieutenant Henry Schmeeman in 1976, but then that was thrown out because he was not allowed to represent himself. He did not have a lawyer for this trial. Smith will be sentenced on October 12th. The slain policeman's family on hand for the second verdict and applauded when it was read. There is another hurricane churning through the Atlantic.
Helene has been upgraded to a hurricane at 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it's still about 1,500 miles east of the Lesser Antilles, and it's still moving towards the west about 15 miles per hour, and it should continue that motion for the next day or two.
Forecasters say just because the storm is so far off, we shouldn't get complacent about it. There's absolutely nothing in front of it to block it, and it is making straight for the Caribbean on a dead westerly course. The Russian foreign minister comes to Washington tonight. He'll be here to resume arms reductions talks.
Assistant Secretary of State Roseanne Ridgway expects no agreement on a START treaty this year, but predicts progress will be made in limiting air-launched cruise missiles. She says the two sides are also close to completing a protocol on verifying nuclear tests. As for what President Reagan will discuss with Shevardnadze,
he's going to start with human rights and the hope that and express the determination to keep working on all of these issues right through the end of the administration.
Ridgway says Vice President and candidate George Bush has also expressed an interest in meeting with Shevardnadze. Becky Bailey, NBC Radio Network News, the State Department.
The WNBC weather today, partly sunny, mild, becoming less humid. The high will be in the low 80s, and at the moment it's 69 degrees.
I was talking to Dr. O'Shea over at the Sports Training Institute.
Right.
And you know, it made me sick when I ran 10.5 miles on Sunday.
I thought it was just a little like a little intestinal bug or something you'd picked up.
No.
That wasn't it.
I hadn't eaten enough. I didn't carb up.
Yeah.
That's the farthest I've ever run.
And well, that's a major energy expenditure, to be quite serious. 10.5 miles. 10.5 miles, I said.
In addition to still smoking. See, that's the problem.
That's a big problem. You're right.
Well, I can't quit. I've tried to quit. I can't.
What do you mean you can't quit?
I can't quit.
Oh, come on, Donald. Don't.
See, that's the reason. I'll tell you why. The reason I could quit drinking and I could quit doing drugs because it was going to kill me and ruin my life.
Yeah.
It was going to ruin my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I had tangible proof of that.
Yes, you did.
But with cigarettes, it's a slower death, Chuck.
That's true. All right, fine.
It's not annoying you?
What?
Rattling this. Well, you can't hear it because you don't.
Well, certainly I can hear it. You're opening your cereal. So what? Why should that annoy me that you're getting ready to eat?
sports, and Julie with the cars, and that fine Ad Age report. All coming up. Plus, we'll talk with Mike Lupica from Seoul, South Korea. All that just ahead here on the Imus in the Morning program.
The WNBC News Time is 8:34.
Tell me something. How many businesses do you know that date back to 1908? Yeah, I thought so. But you know, in this age of disposability, that's really not surprising. We've all seen businesses come and go just like the seasons. But there is a business that has endured the past 80 years. Channel Home Centers. Why? Well, because year in and year out, Channel has continued to put their customers' needs first. You could say they built their business on that principle alone. It's that simple. Oh, and it doesn't hurt to offer prices like these either. This week, during Channel's 80th anniversary event, you'll find incredible savings throughout the store. Like this 30 by 80-inch white crossbuck storm door. It comes complete, it's pre-hung for easy installation, and it's just $49.99. And remember, if you find that item advertised for less anywhere, Channel will beat that price. Why? Because over the past 80 years, Channel has learned when you put your customers first, they tend to put you first, too. Channel Home Centers. There's no better place, any place.
Geez, that guy's pretty intense there about Channel Home Centers, isn't he? It's 8:35, 25 till 9. I'm Mr. Morning. Here's Julia Hernandez with the latest now from the WNBC Traffic and Transit Network. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. In Nassau County, the eastbound Northern State Parkway has been closed down at Shelter Rock Road. There's a serious commuter van accident. Traffic extra heavy through the area. Westbound very congested from Roslyn Road. Eastbound LIE, just the left lane open approaching the Elmhurst Tanks. A truck accident in the process of being cleared. Traffic jammed from the BQE. Westbound lanes heavy from the Grand Central Parkway to the Tanks because of rubbernecking. Transit Authority reports there is no R, N, or B service in either direction between 57th Street and Queens Plaza. That because of a train derailment approaching the 57th Street station. You can use the E, F, or number 7 lines as alternates. There are heavy delays on all trains, and alternate side of the street parking rules suspended today in all 5 boroughs in observance of Yom Kippur. Back with more traffic and transit in about 15 minutes on WNBC.
5 minutes, Mr. Warner.
Like any other TV star, Malcolm Jamal Warner of The Cosby Show gets hundreds of fan letters from kids. But many of his are different. They're not just about hobbies or favorite TV shows. They're about what it's like to be black or white. This week, TV Guide publishes a revealing excerpt from Malcolm Jamal's new book. It's filled with insight on the attitudes of young people. In it, you'll find cause for concern and cause for hope, too. Decide for yourself in this week's TV Guide.
So I said to old Rosenberg yesterday, I said, I guess you got to get home before sundown. You turn into a cash register, huh? Har. And he told me to shut up. It's 8:36, coming up at 8:37, 23 till 9 o'clock. I'm in the morning. WNBC Sports.
Safe deposit box.
Yeah, CD. The Yankees beat Baltimore 7-1. The Mets over Philadelphia 6-4. Yankees still 5.5 out. The Mets magic number is 2 because Pittsburgh did win.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers magic number is 4 or 5, something like that. Baltimore play the Yankees tonight with Tommy John and Al Leiter on the mound with the Yankees. Phillies are out of shade to take on the Mets, and it'll be fat, very fat. Repugnant Sid Fernandez, who will be, well, he's not repugnant, but he is fat, who will be pitching for, he's a pretty good pitcher, by the way.
Oh,
in fact,
really?
He's a terrific pitcher.
Yes, he is.
His record doesn't really reflect that as much as it should, but his record's like 9-10 or 11 or something like that. But he's lost some games he shouldn't have lost. We beat Brazil. We being the United States Olympic basketball team.
Yeah.
Beat Brazil 102-87. Brazil had beaten the USA in the Pan Am Games last year.
Right.
So this was revenge of sorts. And then we're going to play somebody else now. Oscar Schmidt, who's this Nazi from Brazil, he was supposed to score a lot of points, and he didn't, did he? No. In the water polo thing, we won 7-6 over Yugoslavia. Remember, we tied them in 84 in the Olympic deal, and then so they got the gold medal, and we didn't, and we were upset at the U.S. water polo team. Well, they can't touch the bottom of the pool, by the way. I just found that out from you guys.
The little legs have to churn furiously throughout the entire contest.
I don't...
Unbelievable. I know.
And then Tim Mayotte.
Talk about aerobic conditioning.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Tim Mayotte kicked off his Olympic gold medal quest. Who writes this wire copy?
Well, you're doing fine,
Let
though.
me just read this wire copy to you.
Well, it's not bad.
Tim Mayotte kicked off his Olympic gold medal quest by defeating South Korean Wang Dong Song 3-3-4 in tennis.
Wait a minute. Who'd he defeat?
Song Dong Wook. Sun Dun Wook. I don't know. Anyway, he's out of it. And Sweden's Anders Gerhard or whatever his name is, he won. And Emilio Sanchez from Spain, he won. And it's Charlie Sheen's brother, Emilio Sanchez, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's Emilio Estevez, or whatever it is. Well, never mind. It's tough to keep my Brad Pack and straight here. And Steffi Graf will play later in the week. And the U.S. baseball team defeated Australia 12-2 because they can't play very well. And they didn't do that good, did they? And Mitch Green, as Charles reported, was discovered by the police screaming at the top of his lungs incoherently at 125th and Park, or Lex, at about 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. And Mitch was reluctant to settle down, so they stun-gunned him.
Yeah, they did.
And now he's over getting a checkup from the neck up.
Yeah, he is.
The police suggested that he might have been on some substance of some kind.
Yeah, they did.
We would suppose that Mitch would be, because Mitch is wont to do that. And the highlight of the Olympics...
You know what he was screaming about, by the way?
No.
Tyson.
Oh, he was?
He was screaming at the top of his lungs stuff about the heavyweight champion.
Mm-hmm. Well, my favorite part of the Olympics so far, here at 8:40, 20 minutes till 9, is, and I agree with Andy Rooney, has been the cooking of the doves. The pigeon roast.
That was awful. Poor little birdies.
The pigeon roast at the pigeon roost. That'll teach them to fly up there and sit on the Olympic flame deal there.
Poor choice.
So, and I didn't realize that the pigeons had been cooked, some of them, until I saw a replay of it, because at the time, in watching it live, it looked as though, they let the flame and the pigeons escape, but they didn't. They cooked some of them, huh?
I'm afraid so, yeah.
Yeah.
It did get a little hot in the old roost tonight. It did, you're right.
So there was some smoking pigeons.
Yeah, there were.
And the other highlight is Angel Myers, the Olympic swimmer, who has a neck like Art Donovan or Hulk Hogan.
Sitting there with her father being interviewed and flatly denying that she was using steroids.
She's tested positive for steroid use. Prior to the Olympics, she's a swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, in effect, I ain't take nothing.
She said it was an unfortunate result of having perhaps taken too many or gotten her dosages confused or something of birth control pills.
Now, see, if you see Angel Myers, she's not going to be able to sell that.
How comes that, Don?
Because there isn't any reason for her to take birth control pills.
You mean, you trying to tell me she's a walking birth control pill?
Man, I mean, she's got built-in birth control. You know what I'm saying?
How's that, Don?
Well, I mean, she's just... Well, that's an ugly woman. You know why I've got my hand on my penis area here?
Stop it.
Because I was washing my cat, Collins.
Yeah.
And Collins scratched my in my penal area. And that's painful.
Well, I suppose it could be.
But,
well, I guess it all depends on where you're coming from.
Well, no,
I mean, you're getting awful thick with this kitty.
No, I'm not.
I've noticed that, and we've all noticed it, and we've talked, yes, frankly, behind your back.
My cat, Collins, is... I mean, every day I go home and I think, why have I got this cat? And this cat is just the most obnoxious, neurotic animal.
Well, boy, I'm real surprised at that.
I open the door and a cat comes trotting down the hallway there and wants me to, and then start, meow, if I don't pick it right up.
Well, it likes you.
So I pick it up and I pet it and I take it and slam it down there. I don't slam it real hard, but... And I don't care what time it is. The cat will, if I'm reading or something, the cat's fine. The cat will lie there and just snore away,
Yeah.
The second I shut off the lights, the cat is tearing around the room like a roadrunner. I mean, really.
You have the affection of one of God's little creatures. I think you would be very happy.
One of God's little creatures is going to be dead. Anyway, but I'm okay. It wasn't a fine. A disabling wound, as it were, when the cat scratched my...
You went sidelined
in my penal
indefinitely?
Area. But it did hurt. You ever had a cat scratch your...
No!
Well... So, that's a deal.
Well, I don't want to go into
There's a real good joke here,
Yeah, but
there's a real good joke about the... there's a real good joke here, but it would be gratuitously filthy.
Yes, it would.
And I've already been reprimanded by that from you, so there's no sense in pursuing any pussy jokes, is there?
No, there's not.
All right, so go ahead.
The WNBC weather today, partly sunny, becoming less humid. Mild and becoming less humid. Oh, God. The high in the low 80s. Tonight, clear and cooler, the low near 60. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and seasonable. The high in the mid-70s. Friday's outlook, variably cloudy, mild, and a chance of showers. 69 degrees right now at 8:44, and that's what's happening.
That's our temperature. R.
I'm Charles McCord, WNBC New York.
Thank you very much, Charles. We forgot James Brady, but only because we wanted to place him right at this point in the hour, because it's a prime point in the hour.
Here's the advertising lineup for the Seoul Olympics. NBC already the big winner. No gold medals, but a total of $550 million worth of commercial time sold. That's $100 million more than ABC sold 4 years ago at Los Angeles. The Olympics will be on the air for about 180 hours this week and next. Of those 180 hours, roughly 30 hours won't be running or jumping or swimming, but pure commercial time. 30 hours of ads. And NBC isn't giving the time away. They're charging $320,000 for a 30-second commercial. The big spenders? Coca-Cola, Kodak, Visa, Federal Express, 3M. GM will spend about $40 million for commercials, mostly on Oldsmobile. The Beef Council is launching a new campaign, and you'll see brand new ads from GTE, Kodak, Xerox, and Metropolitan Life. Jim Brady, Advertising Age.
Just let you walk away. Just let you leave without a trace. When I stand here taking every breath with you. Ooh, you're the only one who really knew me at all. How can you just walk away from me when all I can do is watch you leave?
Morning, Mike.
You know, you just asked me the dumbest question you've ever asked me.
And that was?
You said, can you hang on? Where are you going? I'm going to the movies, Don.
Well, aren't you in your little hotel there, Olympic Village?
No, and then after I go to the movies, maybe I thought I'd stop by Yankee Stadium for the Orioles-Yankees game.
Aren't you having a good time at the Olympics?
Well, I'd like the track and field to start now because, frankly, the small bore rifle event doesn't really get me that excited.
You know, I was watching the Olympics last night.
Yeah?
And Jim Simpson is doing the equestrian thing. And he's talking to one of these nerds doing the commentary. And then there's a guy on a course on a horse. And Jim kind of stops what he's saying, and he just casually says, as the horse comes up to the gate and refuses to jump over it,
yeah.
Jim says, well, we have another refusal there from the Polish horse. Well, I thought it was just me and my cat, Collins, watching it, but I said, of course you're going to have another, please.
I hate those refusals, don't you?
Yes, I do. So what's going on?
What does the horse say when he refuses, Don? I think not.
I don't know.
I'd rather not?
I don't know.
Please don't make me?
I don't know.
Don, I spent an hour today with the biggest jerk I've ever covered in sports.
So Brian Gumbel had a press conference?
No. Carl Lewis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 4 years ago, he wanted to be Michael Jackson.
Right.
Now he's turned into a television evangelist. This was one of the clumsiest attempts, I'm telling you, at damage control you've ever seen. Like, everybody who's ever been in the media in the world is stupid, and then we're going to believe that he's a really good guy. And it was unbelievable. Somebody asked him how much money he makes.
Right.
And when they woke me up at the end of his answer, about 20 minutes later,
yeah,
he was saying, just say no to drugs.
Well, so do we hate him now?
Yeah, I think we got to root for old Ben Johnson on Saturday.
Yeah,
I think you get to watch that on Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Like late Friday night will be the race that NBC has basically paid $400 million and put 180 hours on for. To watch two guys run for 10 seconds.
The men's 100-meter final, right?
Ben Johnson and Carl Lewis, the last time they raced was in Zurich, and they each made like $250,000, something like that.
Well, I still hope... I still hope Carl wins.
Why?
Of course, I didn't have to sit through the press conference.
No, because at the end of the press conference, we couldn't decide what was worse, playing for John Thompson or having to listen to Carl Lewis.
Well, what are you going to do? You're going to bed now, right?
And we're very upset with Matt Biondi because, you would think that one of the first things that you would learn in swimming is where the wall is. Wouldn't you think so, Don?
Yeah.
Being able to touch the wall when it gets close, beat him at the finish.
Yeah, we saw that last night.
I thought that was tomorrow.
Don't try to figure out what time it is.
Don't you start this with me because I think I'm supposed to go to bed. It's dark out here, Don.
Well, then go to bed.
It's not dark out there, is it?
No, it's not.
Did the Yankees win?
Yes, they did. And Boston.
Did they win last night's game or tomorrow night's game?
They won tomorrow night's game.
So I can tell everybody.
I'll see you later. Thank you for calling us.
Well, thanks for paying for the call.
Oh, really? Bye. Mike Lippica from Seoul, South Korea, covering the Olympics. Well, no, he's in a javelin. It's 8:53 now, 7 till 9. I'm Mr. Morning. This WNBC Sports Report is sponsored by Cooper Tire. See Nick and Mike Popolowski, Maplewood Tire, 1659 Springfield Avenue in Maplewood, New Jersey. And here's Julia Hernandez now with the latest on the car stuff. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. In Nassau County, eastbound on the Northern State Parkway, it's closed at Shelter Rock Road. There is an overturned van there. Traffic extra heavy from the Cross Island Parkway. Westbound very congested from Roslyn Road because of rubbernecking. Eastbound LIE has only the left lane open approaching the Elmhurst tanks. A truck accident still being cleared. Traffic jammed from the BQE. Westbound, it's heavy from the Grand Central to the tanks because of rubbernecking. Transit Authority reports there is still no R, N, or B service in either direction between 57th Street and Queens Plaza. That because of a train derailment approaching 57th Street Station. You can use the E, the F, or the number 7 as an alternate. There are heavy delays, though, on all trains. Traffic on the FDR sluggish through the 70s in both directions. Westbound Route 3 in Little Falls, New Jersey, heavy for a mile and a half into the Route 46 merge. And a reminder, alternate side of the street parking regulations suspended in all 5 boroughs in observance of Yom Kippur. Back in about 10 minutes with more traffic and transit on WNBC.
For over 70 years, Cooper has been producing quality tires priced within easy reach.
Cooper quality goes a long, long way. Made with care and pride in the U.S.
Cooper tire is a great example of quality American craftsmanship. Made with such skill and pride, the person who builds the tire actually signs the tire. Cooper, the tire with two names, the company and the craftsman who builds it. Two sure signs of a great American tire built to give you your money's worth.
Quality goes a long, long way. Call your Cooper Tire dealer today.
See Tom Short, Dean Tire, 60 Abbott Avenue in Morristown, New Jersey, or Cliff Deming at Dean Tire, on T45, Route 23 in Wayne, New Jersey. 8:55, 5 till 9. I'm Mr. Morning. WNBC weather, partly sunny, mild, and becoming less humid today. High in the low 80s, 69 now in New York. Speaking of Carl Lewis.
All right, we're here in the Yankee locker room, which has been moved to the Olympic Village here in Seoul.
Oh, gave my heart a little pip, had to pause there because I thought, damn, I must miss my plane.
And we're talking with Carl Lewis,
Hi.
who wants to be the fastest human on Earth. And
Yes, well, I am. It's just not official.
you've guaranteed that you're going to win the gold medal.
I guarantee you take that to the bank, Mr. Imus.
In fact, you said the gold medal is mine, is what you said.
It's not mine yet, but it will be.
And you're gonna...
I have a space right next to my bowling trophy for it on the mantelpiece.
You do?
Yes.
And you're going to beat... You're not a homosexual, are you, Carl?
No.
Look at this.
What? Well, I could be.
Carl, you're going to beat Ben Johnson. Now, Ben Johnson's the fastest human on Earth.
Well, no, I didn't say that exactly. I said I was going to beat on Ben Johnson in the locker room. It's a whole different story.
No, Carl, come on.
Be a Ben.
Carl,
a couple of quiet words over dinner the other night.
I understand you have a unique...
Little candlelight, some wine.
Fine, Carl. Carl, I understand you have a unique plan to break Bob Beeman's world broad jump record.
Yes, I do.
What is that?
Oh, I thought you was going to tell the people.
No, I
Well,
probably let you.
see, the way I figure, we get that Greg Louganis.
Right.
He's a fine-looking boy.
He is.
So I'm going to put him at the other end of the pit and have him bend over and drop his little shots. That's going to make me jump like a mother.
That's pretty
I like when they get that camera shot looking up at the diving ball. Girlfriend, that boy looks fine.
Fine,
The
Carl.
little bulge he got in front of his suit.
Fine.
So I walk a mile over broken glass just to touch it.
I think that's enough, Carl.
But I still love Ben.
Good luck, though.
Huh?
Good luck.
Yes, and good luck with you. You get them trousers made special?
Imus in the morning, 66 WNBC.
3 till 9. I'm Mr. Morning. NBC.
Leroy boy, is that you? I thought your post-hanging days were through. Sunken eyes and full of sighs. Tell no lies. You get wise. I tell you now we're gonna pull you through. There's only one thing left that we can do. We gotta get you a woman. It's like nothing else to make you feel sure you're alive. We gotta get you a woman. We better get walking.
from 66 WNBC, New York.
I'm Charles McCord. Here's what's happening at 9 o'clock. Mayor Koch wants more money from property owners in order to put more narcotics officers out on the streets. But there will be no such property tax increases if Council Majority Leader Peter Vallone has his way.
Vallone says it's crazy to be looking at homeowners every time we have a priority that has to be funded. Adding, where do you stop?
And one of the problems a very real problem that's facing every property owner in the city of New York is what will happen at this time next year when, unless state law changes, every property owner in the city of New York will go up at least 40% in taxes. And we're talking about the amount of money they're paying, not the assessment.
A final alternative would be to fund the program by cutting other essential city services. The city needs $110 million over 2 years just to pay for 618 more police officers, 1,500 new jail cells, and expanded court facilities. Jim Iyer, WNBC News.
Drugs may have been at the root of a riot in Shreveport, Louisiana overnight. Police report hundreds of angry blacks looted or burned 4 stores and held off authorities with rocks and bottles early today after a black man was fatally shot in a park that had a history as a drug-dealing center. 2 white women were arrested after the shooting but were not immediately charged. During the rock throwing, a 7-block area was cordoned off and police warned motorists to stay away. The police chief in Shreveport said the crowd could have been as big as 1,000 people at the height of the disturbance, though most estimates put the figure between 300 and 500 during most of the evening. On the campaign trail, Michael Dukakis is pushing a general health insurance plan that would cover all workers and their families who don't have coverage now. And in Lexington, Kentucky, he challenged George Bush on the point.
I have a question for Mr. Bush. Mr. Bush, don't you think it's time you came out from behind the flag and told us what you intend to do to provide basic health care for 37 million of our fellow citizens?
Coming out from behind the flag would have been a little bit difficult for Mr. Bush yesterday, literally surrounded by flags, visiting a flag manufacturer in Bloomfield, New Jersey, to say that the firm's increase in sales was due to an increase in patriotism and a better economic climate. Speaking of the economic climate, there are some new numbers out this morning.
Consumer prices rose 0.4% last month. Same increase as in July. Jumps in the cost of food, shelter, and energy accounted for most of the rise. U.S. builders were not quite as busy last month. Housing construction fell 3 1/3%, more than offsetting a modest gain in single-family home building. Hurricane Helene plowing westward across the central Atlantic now could reach the Lesser Antilles early next week. Forecaster Max Mayfield.
I don't really see any reason for it not to strengthen some anyway. It just made it to a hurricane a few hours ago, and looks like it should continue to strengthen gradually anyway for the next day or two.
Winds in Helene blowing at speeds of up to 85 miles an hour. At the Hamadi hijacking trial in Frankfurt, star witness Uli Derrickson, back for a second day of testimony, sobbed uncontrollably as she recalled the ordeal more than 3 years ago. From the NBC Radio Network newsroom, I'm Gary Nunn.
Preacher Jim Baker, who acknowledged having had sex with Jessica Kahan, but denied under oath ever having had a homosexual relationship with anybody, you may recall, is reading today of what Jay Babcock has to say about that. Mr. Babcock is a former PTL club official who has told a federal grand jury under oath in North Carolina that he had sex with Reverend Baker.
Yeah, I did.
Mr. Babcock is with us here this morning, a special guest on the Imus in the Morning program. Mr. Babcock, let me just ask you.
Yeah.
I know you can't reveal exactly what you said before the grand jury, but can you tell us anything about this supposed episode with Mr. Baker?
Yeah, well, I had a boner. See?
Yeah.
And Jim noticed that.
Yes, he did.
And he said he thought there was something wrong with it.
Did he try to heal you?
Yeah, he did. He put his hands on it. And I'll tell you, are we live?
Yes, we are. We're on the air now.
I can say this, and I'm not ashamed to say it. It felt good.
The grand jury is trying to determine whether PTL money was used to buy sexual favors.
My eyes rolled back up in my head. And
Mr. Babcock, who's a special guest here this morning,
drool running out of my mouth,
was the first man to publicly acknowledge telling the jurors of a homosexual sex encounter with Reverend Baker.
That's what it was.
The WNBC weather, partly sunny, mild, and becoming less humid today. The high will be in the low 80s, and right now it's 69 degrees.
I was going to leave my wife for him.
Yeah?
But he wouldn't leave his.
Why not?
I don't know. She's a pig, ain't she? I wonder he came on to me. A question you got to ask yourself is, why did I have this boner?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I felt a stirring in my loins. I was hot. I was hot. You're making me hot. Stop it. You're kind of cute.
Get out of here, Mr. Babcock.
The Yankees won, the Mets won.
And a number of other things happened. It was pretty exciting stuff.
And we'll review all of those, won't we?
Right, we'll be talking with Andy Rooney. He has some thoughts on the Olympics.
Yeah.
And,
Don't do that.
We have what's the matter? We have a number of other things.
He was chewing up toast, ladies and gentlemen, and he just let it roll out of his mouth into his lap, didn't you?
Well, I don't say impolite to talk with your mouth full.
I think it's more impolite to let a big gobber of food roll out of your mouth.
That's what we tried to say to Mr. Babcock there with Jim Baker when he was saying, like,
Copy?
I can't recall.
Was that bisexual favors or bisexual favors?
I think I've either or both.
Shut up, Julia.
Stop it.
She'll be here with the cards. All that's coming up.
WNBC News Time is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock.
Every cup of Maxwell House Instant Coffee tastes like your first cup in the morning. Fresh, rich, with the enticing aroma of coffee that's always good to the last drop.
Get me another cup of that Maxwell House, would you there, Bernie? It's 7 after 9. I'm Mr. Morning, and here with the latest on the car stuff is Julia Hernandez. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. Still a big problem. Transit Authority reporting there is no R, N, or B service in either direction between 57th Street in Manhattan and Queens Plaza. That because of a train derailment approaching the 57th Street station. You can use the E, the F, or the number 7 lines as alternates. There are heavy delays, though, on all trains. In Nassau County, eastbound Northern State Parkway closed at Shelter Rock Road, an overturned van there. Traffic extra heavy from the Cross Island Parkway. Westbound very congested from Roslyn Road because of rubbernecking. Eastbound LIE, just the left lane is open approaching the Elmhurst gas tanks because of the cleanup from an earlier truck accident. Traffic packed from the BQE. Westbound, it is sluggish from the Grand Central Parkway to the tanks because of rubbernecking. Alternate side of the street parking regulations suspended in all 5 boroughs after the observance of Yom Kippur. And we'll wrap it up for the morning in about 15 minutes on WNBC.
Dearie.
Yes, light of my life.
I just noticed that $2.20 is missing from our Retire in Fiji at 50 account.
My explanation will delight your pearly, delicate ears.
Oh, do tell, playful, tricky one.
I have ordered home delivery of the New York Times at a lovable $2.20 a week.
Okay, Edgar. What's it for?
The New York Times. We're going to get the Times delivered 7 days a week for only $2.20 a week for the first 20 weeks. Now, that's their best offer ever.
For all the Times and comparable coverage of world and national news, business, special interest sections every day,
Yes.
sports, money, science times,
Right.
home, living.
Yes, dearest.
And the Sunday Times, the magazine, travel, arts, and leisure.
Yes.
For only $2.20 a week delivered?
Yes, my accurate little passion flower.
Oh, it's times like this you make me forget I'm a certified public accountant.
If I'd only known, I'd have called sooner.
For delivery at less than newsstand price, call 1-800-631-2500. 1-800-631-2500. The New York Times. It adds life to your life. New subscribers only.
It's 9 minutes after 9 o'clock, and I'm Imus the Morning, and boy, I'm surprised to see you here this morning, Alan Colmes.
Not done swallowing yet.
Aren't you a Jew, Alan?
Huh?
Aren't you a Jew?
Beautifully said.
Aren't you supposed to be home atoning for them sins?
Weren't you supposed to be dead when the rapture happened last week?
Oh, thank you very much. What's the deal?
I'm not a religious Jew. I'm a ethnic and cultural Jew. I'm not an observant Jew.
Are you not?
No.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well,
sorry, baby.
I'm fine.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
A main talk show, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I like you, Alan.
Yeah.
You don't like it because I like you, do you?
Well, I'm a little nervous about it.
We're going to have Dave Barry on today.
He's very good. Have you read him?
No, I haven't.
He is a columnist, syndicated columnist from the Miami Herald. I'll try to get that right by this afternoon. And read in the Daily News here in New York. He's a very funny guy. And
Dave Barry, yes, I have read him.
Yeah.
He's in like the Sunday paper.
That's right.
The Sunday Daily News magazine.
Yeah.
He's mildly amusing sometimes.
He was a better basketball player, really, than he is a columnist. I
It was
thought.
not Dave Barry.
Huh?
It was Rick Barry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just read the paper and stay out of it. And Spy Magazine's one of my favorite
It's
magazines.
great. They came up. The October issue is basically the sleaziest, most annoying people, places, and things. George Bush and Al Sharpton had that list.
Well, I couldn't agree with that more, except I'm a big supporter of Al Sharpton's. But
You are?
yeah.
In fact, Al's supposed to be on my show on Thursday.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Big Al. I tell you to say, hey, Al.
He hung up on me last time we spoke, but he apparently wants to make amends.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Well, try to get him to come in live.
No, he'll be here live on the tomorrow
Oh, he
show.
will?
Yeah.
Oh, he will?
Yeah. We're going to shoehorn him in.
Oh, that's really nice, Alan, to make fun of somebody because they're a little overweight.
And you would never pick on somebody's physical attributes, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
No. Nice parachute you're wearing.
Nice what?
Looks like a parachute.
You know, you're not one who should talk about what people wear. I mean, with the way you come in here sometimes.
What's wrong with this?
Let's talk about something relevant.
Like what?
Have you gotten a job yet?
You're asking that every day. There isn't a daily update to be given.
Well, I think you've got... Charles, don't you think he's got to get a little more...
It should be kind of like the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We should issue a daily job bulletin.
Yeah.
I'm not too thrilled about the Bureau of Labor Statistics. You know, with your clout, I would think you could just put in a good word for me. And
You haven't asked me.
Would you?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to hear a tape. Do you have an audition tape I could listen to?
Do you have references?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, we hire people not based solely on how they do on the air, but we like good, reliable people.
I'm pretty reliable, right?
And yeah, you are. But we like people who are morally pure, which you are not.
Well, how did you get in here?
You live with a woman, and you've lived with her for who knows how long, and you're not married to her, are you?
You live with a cat.
I don't have sex with my cat, though, do I?
Well, now, wait a minute. What were you doing with that cat today? Today he was scrubbing his cat, and his cat attacked him in a very, very delicate area.
You cleaned your cat?
I was cleaning my cat, and my cat scratched my penis. And it was very painful.
For the cat?
Well, no, for me. Have you ever had a cat scratch you on your
No,
situation?
I haven't.
In your
But
penal area?
I've never tried to clean my cat either. Cats clean themselves.
Well, no, but I just was kind of... I was brushing my cat.
What was your bare penis doing? What were you doing?
See, that's a pretty good question.
What were you doing with a bare penis?
I didn't just want to pursue. I mean, the question occurred to me, but I just didn't want to pursue it. I'd leave it to
Why would
Mr.
your
Cole.
penis be visible to the cat when you were cleaning it?
Well, because I don't wear any clothes when I'm at home, usually. I just walk around.
All right. So let's get this picture.
All right.
You got this female cat.
Right.
Sitting on your lap, and you're naked.
Oh, no, I was standing up.
And you're rubbing the cat.
I wasn't rubbing the cat. I was trying to
And
clean
the cat
it.
is getting, frankly excited.
No.
And you're getting excited.
No, that's not
And
the...
you're about to engage in bestiality.
You're making this sound ugly.
You are a lonely man. We
No,
know you're a lonely man. We know you. What is it? What's he do? He's watching all 1,000 hours of Olympics coverage. He watches water polo.
Yeah.
Did you know
Rubbing
they
his
can't touch
cat naked.
Do you know that they can't? Do you know they can't touch the bottom of the pool?
Who, the cat?
In water polo.
Oh.
You know, animal loving is wonderful, but you take it a little bit too far.
I wasn't having sex with my cat. I just...
Well, maybe just foreplay then.
No. Nothing of the kind. I'm not some sicko.
No, you stay home and you clean your cat.
Anyway, Dave Barry, who is not that funny, but he writes for the Miami Herald, and
we paint a little mouse face on it, did we?
he'll be here, and some writers and editors from Spy Magazine will be here. Is that the deal?
Correct.
Okay, so that sounds like a pretty good show today.
I think it will be.
When nobody's listening.
What do you mean nobody's listening?
Well, it's for all intents and purposes a holiday.
Well, after sundown, perhaps people will be tuning in.
Yeah. Well, Rosenberg had to get home last night before sundown, and he turned into a cash register. Har, har, har.
You know, it's nothing like spewing your racism over a 50,000 watt radio station, is there?
Obviously.
Get a real sense of